Hey guys, this company sent me this gun safe for free. So stick around to the end of the video as I go over all the details, and you can find out if I decide to keep this or not. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we've got a product review for you. It's the Kaer World 2-gun safe or cabinet, whichever you prefer to call it. Now, full disclosure, they sent me this product for review. And I'm going to give you, though, my honest take on this cabinet or safe, whichever you prefer. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to give you what my impressions are on it. And then stick around till the end of the video and see whether or not I would buy this safe. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right into the review. So first impressions of the safe in general. It is very small, which is what I wanted it for, right? You can get the larger ones, but I wanted a small one. This particular one came assembled, which to me, pretty big deal because I don't want to spend 4 hours of my day trying to put together some of those other videos I've seen on YouTube where they take a while to put the bigger ones together. So it was nice that it came assembled, real easy to move around, which there's good, pros and cons to that. As you can see, I can clearly pick it up. It's not that heavy, okay? Which again, that might be a bad thing, but just keep in mind that you can bolt this down to the floor or to the wall. As you can see, it's made of, I guess it's steel. The sides, there's other videos out there, it's honestly not that much thicker than a strong filing cabinet, okay? So it is, not fireproof, I don't think at all. It's not going to keep out prepared criminals with cheap power tools or even, simple blunt force objects potentially. But what it will do, I think, is it'll do a pretty good job of keeping out, like I said, kids and maybe just, your lower level criminals who don't have time to mess with it. Okay? But overall, it looks pretty nice. I mean, it looks like your average gun safe or gun cabinet. It's nice that it's compact. You could put it really anywhere. And then it's got the digital keypad here. And I'll show you a little bit about this here. But you can set your own code, and I just have it for 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. But you open it up, and that's what it looks like, okay? Has its own little light right here inside. It's not real bright, but it's probably bright enough that you could see in the dark what's inside the safe. If you look at the door it has a decent locking mechanism there. Bolts, it has 1, 2, 3, and then there's another one. Nope, there's not another one down there. On the other videos I saw, there was. So this particular model only has 3 bolts. But probably sufficient for, like I said, for the purposes that I'm using it for. The inside of the safe, you've got a shelf up here that is removable, okay? But I'll probably just keep it in there for now. It comes with 2 of these little rifle holders, I guess you would call them. They just kind of wedge in there. And up top here, you've got a little compartment right there that you could probably store some ammo, maybe a small magazine, pistol magazine maybe. Comes with a little holstered spot right here. I'll show you that here in a minute, in a little bit when we go through the guns that I put in here. This doesn't really work very good unless you're using a very small handgun, but there is another purpose for that I'll show you. Okay, and then you've got a couple more shelves down here on the door. Okay, so honestly, pretty decent storage, and again, it's not fancy. It's not it's not supposed to hold my super expensive rifles or anything like that. This is just to keep the kids away from the guns, okay, for the most part. So to open it back up, I guess you have to press in the keypad code. Now, so to get into the safe, you have a code, and then you hit the pound button. You can set your own code. I think it's between a 3 and 8 digit pin. I will say this handle right here, if you look at that, that's pretty flimsy in my opinion. That's not something I would again trust to keep out hardened criminals. But the keypad is nice. It's pretty simple. I will say whenever I put it together, whenever I originally did the code, it did not work. What I had to do, I kept hitting the pound button and nothing would happen. The green light was supposed to go on and nothing would happen. I actually had to type in the code and then I double tapped the pound key. For whatever reason, that worked for me. I don't know if that's just a glitch with my safe or with every one of them or whatever, but just keep that in mind if you're having some trouble getting it open for the first time. Another thing I would say is electronics this cheap, personally, I don't trust them that well. Now, I trust it to open up, but essentially, I have other guns in my room as well, that if this one doesn't work, I can get to those ones just as easily. You can open this, pretty quickly, but if that battery were to die or something, you're not going to get to it very quickly. However, and I would not buy any safe today without this. This does have a spare key, which I think probably most safes and most cabinets nowadays come with a spare key. This one actually comes with two. They're very simple. You take out the batteries, stick in the key, and then you can, open or close it, whichever you need to do, okay? So again, I personally would not buy it if it didn't have a key, okay? So it's nice that it does come with that key for peace of mind, knowing that I'm not going to lock my own guns in there at some point. So that's, again, nice, but that whole locking mechanism, verdict is still out on that. I've only had this for a week or so, so we'll see how it holds up over time, okay? Which brings me to the next point. I have a code for you down in the description. You can click on the link if you do want to purchase this safe, and you'll get a discount using my code. I'll get a tiny little bit from that as well. But honestly, guys, if this thing turns out to be junk throughout the years or whatever, keep an eye on the comments down below or whatever. I will not be pushing items, even if I make money on them. I'm not going to push them if they're not good, okay? You're spending your hard-earned money. You deserve at least my honesty, okay? Okay, guys, so we're going to go over what kind of guns we can fit in here. So first, the exterior dimensions of this safe are 52 inches high. This is just listed from the website by 9.85 wide. Okay, so 9.8 inches wide and 8.66 inches deep. Okay, the interior, which you're going to see here in a little bit, I wish I would have paid more attention to this. The interior dimensions are 51.77 high, 9.65 wide on the inside, okay, and then 6 inches deep, okay. Now you're going to see why that's really important here. The diagonal length of this, you're going to see here in a second why it could be an issue for some of you. Alright, so here's the gun that I'm going to be keeping in this safe. This is my PSA 10.5 inch with an FN barrel and an FN upper 5.56 AR pistol. And this is a pretty small gun, okay? So you would think it would fit in here. It has obviously no problem height-wise. Here's the issue. If you go with a full-size magazine, like this, okay, that one's from Daniel Defense, and I tried the Magpul ones as well. They are too big to fit in there diagonally. I'll show you the Magpul here, just so you don't have to take my word for it. Okay, but as you can see there, I cannot get that to fit in that safe. I could probably, if I really wanted to, maybe bend the metal a little bit and get it in there, but obviously I'm not going to do that. It's not worth it. So that could be a huge deal breaker for a lot of Americans. If you can't fit an AR-15 with a full-size magazine in there, that could be a huge issue for you, okay? Okay, so here's my solution for that. It's a compromise, but it's not a huge deal for me. I'll just go with a 20 rounder, okay? And the 20 rounder fits in there just fine with plenty of room. So Honestly, if that's a deal breaker for you, if you feel like you need to run with the full-size mags, standard capacity, then obviously, this probably isn't safe for you. But for me personally, 20 rounds for home defense is plenty. Plus, I've always got a spare one on the firearm as well. And if you look up here, you can carry, or you can stage more spare 20 rounders in these little shelves. They fit in there perfectly. Or this little holster right here, what I would use it for is probably putting a spare standard capacity magazine in there as well. Okay, so again, this is essentially, basically right here, this is how I'm going to run this safe, with my 10.5 inch in there, so that my son can't get to it as easily. And I'm going to have a 20 rounder in the gun. I'm going to have a standard capacity on the gun, and then I've got a standard magazine here on the door that I could throw in my pocket or whatever if I need to. Okay, but again, for home defense, if you're using more than 20 or 30 or 50 rounds, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't think that you would need that much for home defense, but obviously it's better to be prepared than not. So let's see what other guns we can fit in there. Now also keep in mind, guys, this is no fault of the company. Okay, I want to be fair to the company. This is not their fault on this. They list the interior dimensions on their website, and I just gave them to you. I just didn't do enough research beforehand. Otherwise, I might have made a different decision, because they sell much larger safes. So I might have got one of the bigger ones had I known that. But again, I'll compromise. It's not that huge of a deal to just run with a 20 rounder instead. Okay, so here's another AR-15. This is just a standard 16 inch with a carry handle. And I'll just show you that this one as well does not fit in there with a standard magazine, okay? You'd have to put a 20 rounder in there instead. I suppose maybe if you went with a completely flat top rail up here and basically no optic and very low sights, it might work. But again, I will just go with the 20 rounder if I have to, okay? And it'll fit in there just fine. Okay, so maybe you want to use a defensive shotgun rather than an AR-15. This is a Mossberg 500 with the 8-round tube, and that thing fits in there just fine. In fact, when it comes to the shotguns, I could also fit another one in there if I wanted to. This is a double-barrel Stoeger coach gun. Now I'd have to move my rack down there a little bit so that it sat in there, or honestly, I'd probably just let it sit like that. And so you can easily fit a couple of shotguns in there at least, okay? No problem carrying those. Same thing goes for hunting rifles, okay? So I'll get that shotgun out of there. This is a Remington 700 with a Vortex Crossfire scope on it, okay? As you're going to notice here, it's a little bit of a tight fit because of the scope. Kind of has to sit in there sideways a little bit. Okay? But it fits just fine as well. Okay, once you get it in there. So, again, like I said, this could be a very nice safe for somebody who only has 2 or 3 guns. And maybe you live in an apartment, maybe you live in a smaller house, maybe you're a college student or somebody that's, in between houses or whatever. I know when my wife and I were living in town, I didn't actually keep all my guns in the apartment we lived in because I was in town. I didn't want the guns to be there. I wanted to be somewhere else. So I kept them in a different location, at a family member's house. And I just wanted something that was real small like this. At the time, this would have been perfect for an apartment, okay? Let's go over some more guns we can fit in there. We've got Ruger 1022. Just show you here, I put the BX25 magazine on there so you can see if that one fits. It'll fit sideways. If you want to use it, if you wanted to try to stick it out like that, it will not fit. But I've got a red dot on there and a 25 rounder. Okay, so simply taking that magazine out, which probably if you're going to have a 22 in there, you might have the magazine out anyways. It'll fit in there sideways, but As you see, the red dot is really what's making that gun kind of want to sit up straight like that. So I would say if you've got optics on your gun, it's going to make it a little bit tougher to fit more than one gun. Now, if you might have noticed that the light went out, that's because the door was open for so long, so I had to just shut it and open it back up again to get the light back on. This is a Stevens 320. Okay, this is like perfect budget shotgun to go with a budget gun safe. This shotgun was less than this safe. Okay, that's how little I paid for this gun. But this has, I believe it's a 26-inch barrel, and as you can see there, it is too long if the shelf is installed. Now, you can remove this shelf, okay? So if you remove that shelf, it will fit in there. But I also want to show you something here. Maybe if we turn the flash on here, you'll see a little better. So if you look in there, the way I have that is there's a little bit of a gap right there, maybe 2 or 3 inches between the door itself and that shelf. So if you have a longer barrel and you don't want to take that shelf out, you can still put it in there sideways like I have it right there. Okay. All right, guys, so after some work, I'm getting a little sweaty here, pushing all these guns into the safe. I wanted to see how many I could fit in there with a little bit of redneck ingenuity. We've got an AR-15 in there. Put that off to the side. We got a double barrel 12 gauge Stoeger coach gun. Put that off to the side. We've got my Mossberg 500 12 gauge. Put that off to the side. So that's 3 long guns. We got the little Senorita pistol here, the 380. Okay, and then also up here on this shelf, I guess I could have mentioned, you can set a Glock 19 on there. You probably could set any kind of full-size handgun on that shelf up top if you wanted to. So, you know, if you are somebody who's on a real tight budget, maybe you don't have a whole lot of guns anyways, this is perfect for you, okay? If you've got basically a shotgun, maybe an AR, maybe a hunting rifle, and a couple pistols, something like that, then, you know, this you could potentially store all of your guns with this cheap little safe. So I certainly think it has its place. And again, as I said in the past, this is going to work perfect for people who want to stage guns in their home. Again, you don't want to spend $1,000 per safe if it's just going to hold one AR-15 or one shotgun just to keep your kids away from it, okay? So this gun, or this safe retails for about $179, but again, if you use the code, my code, you'll get a discount on that. Essentially, would I buy this? You know, for a discounted price, I think I would. I don't know if I'd pay the full retail, but you know, using a discount code or if you wait around for sales, I think I would buy this. It's worth $150 or $160 or whatever, in my opinion, to know that if my son is 2 or 3 years old, he's not going to be able to go into my closet and just grab an AR-15. Okay, there's at least something there stopping him, or you know, stopping most people from getting into it. Okay, so stick with me here, and I will show you, just to end off the video, how I have this set up in my closet for home defense. Alright guys, so we're back here in the bedroom. I gotta stay a little bit quiet so I don't wake the baby up. But as I said, in my closet, our house used to be a business actually before we bought it and we remodeled it. So there's a few little quirks here and there. One of those things is in my closet. I have this little like cubby back here, okay? So it's kind of a unique storage spot, and I found that this safe worked perfectly for that location for me. It had plenty of room to get in there. I honestly could have probably got one even a little bit bigger, but you know, I can put stuff over to the side there as well, maybe put things on top of the safe as well. So let me just show you how I have it set up for home defense. Okay, it opens up there, and in there, try to get the light here for you. I've got that 10.5 inch AR that will stay in there all the time for sure. Okay, and just for the video purposes, and I may keep this in there, I also threw the Mossberg 500 in there as well. And the there's a good chance that I'll keep that in there as well, because I like to have options here. If this is one of my locations to grab a gun, I like to have options. If, per se, I needed to, for whatever reason, grab a shotgun rather than the AR, I'd like to be able to do that. So you can see here I just keep a box of shells on the top, keep a spare 20 rounder, standard capacity size there, and a couple more boxes of shells in there. There's plenty of storage in there. Like I said, you could put other things in there as well. Tuck the sling in there and shut it again. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Is it worth the money? I think so. I think if you're in a unique position like myself and you need a place, or you have a place where you need a very small gun safe, I think it works good for a person like that. I think it works good for a person on a tight budget. And I think it works very good as a safe for staging guns around the house, so that you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to, keep your guns locked up. Okay, guys, so to answer the question at the beginning of the video, would I buy this? Does this safe get my sticker of approval? Well, the short answer is yes. Okay. Again, it's for people in unique situations. It is not for the person who's looking to protect their super valuable gun collection. It is not for the person who's looking for a high dollar safe. Okay. This is a budget option, so you just have to keep that in mind. If you keep that in mind and you understand that this is going to keep kids out of the away from the guns, and it's going to fit in small spaces, then I think yes, it could be a very good safe for you. So as always, guys, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. If you like this product, go down in the description and I'll have the link there with the discount code available. So as always, keep blasting.